Hello and welcome back to our weekly Switch eShop sales roundup where we help you find the best bargains on the UK, US and EU eShops. We've just had a massive spring sale on, but fear not, there are still some gems to be uncovered. As always, we give away a $10 eShop voucher to one person who shared their pick of the week, so be sure to leave us a comment down below and we will announce last week's winner later on. For now, let's jump in and take a look at these deals. Kicking things off with my pick of the week, it's Clusterpuck 99. What is Clusterpuck 99, you ask? Well, it's the perfect game to enjoy right now if you are stuck at home with family. It's a competitive sports game for up to 8 players that has similarities to shuffleboard and ice hockey. You pass a puck from player to player across maps filled with traps, get to the opposite team's goal, and score. When we got a copy of this for review, we were visiting family for the weekend and ended up playing this for hours on end. It's great one-on-one and even better if you can get 4 or more players and make 2 teams. There's nothing fancy about this one, just pure mayhem and fun. All for less than £1. You simply cannot go wrong. Juan, Jordan, what are your picks this week?
Thanks very much, James. This week I've chosen to go with a horror. As a massive fan of horror movies, Friday the 13th, the Ultimate Edition, is a game that does the movie tie-in well, which is a rarity. Here you have to play as Jason Voorhees, either online stalking and taking out players, or as counsellors trying to escape Jason. It's not perfect by any means, but it is very enjoyable, and with the single player challenges, it has something here for everyone if you like the thrill of horror. With 50% off right now, now's the time to get a fright.
Hello everyone, Jordan here with my pick of the week. Today I'm going to go for something that I've chosen before, but quite a long time ago, and I think it needs some fresh attention. Taiko no Tatsujin, in my opinion, is the best rhythm game on the Nintendo Switch alongside Hatsune Miku. This game is so much fun, especially if you have the awesome drum controller to go alongside it. If you want some wacky musical fun in your life, then this is a no-brainer. It's 50% off in the UK, but the US has the better deal, as it's 60% off, plus it was always cheaper to begin with. Head over to the US eShop where you can pick it up for just $20. If you're in the UK or in Europe and you need some US eShop credit, then check the description down below and you can find some for yourself. That's my pick of the week.
Great picks there, guys. At face value, you'd be forgiven for thinking that The Gardens Between is a visual novel where you are just along to watch a story unfold. But whilst the gameplay appears simple, there is surprising depth. The premise is that you solve a series of puzzles bending time to find the right solution for the protagonist, Frenta and Ariana. What's more, each little island in which a puzzle takes place looks gorgeous, and this unique adventure is one worth exploring. Whilst not as well known as the Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest series, the Tales series nevertheless has a solid history starting all the way back in 1995. Tales of Vesperia is an epic 45-hour long JRPG with a delightful anime style and solid gameplay. The port, 10 years after originally released on other platforms, is handled nicely, and on the Switch is the definitive version with a few new gameplay elements and boosted graphics. This version features the original Japanese voice acting as well as an English dub option, and I love the combat that sits somewhere between turn-based and real-time. If you are after a chunky RPG, then this might be what you've been looking for. Toki Tori 2 is a side-scrolling 2D puzzle-based platformer with cute graphics in a nice package. This time around they built on the first, adding more stages and puzzles. Overall, the game has a healthy 10 hours or so of playtime, and at first it feels very much like a game directly aimed at children with its 2-button mechanics. Not long in though, and the difficulty starts to ramp up. With such a deep discount, this is worth picking up. Lovely graphics, cool puzzles, and some easier and tougher content to satisfy everyone. Bandai Namco have stuck the original Cyber Sleuth and the subsequent Hacker's Memory together into one comprehensive digital monster catching package with over 80 hours of gameplay to be had. Whilst not as popular as Pokemon, this series certainly holds its own with its large library of monsters, story going all the way back to 1999, and has enough unique gameplay mechanics to its name to warrant consideration. Instead of one-on-one battles, you mostly pit 3 against 3, so it's important to get that balance in your team right. There's a friendly feel to gameplay that you may or may not like depending on your taste. Overall, it's a solid Digimon package with a healthy discount. Rad is out there. Double Fine Studios are known for their quirky games, and this is no exception. Set in a parallel universe where there was an apocalyptic event in the 80s, humanity has scrambled to purify the air and return to the surface, only for this to go boom once again. Humans, it seems, can't catch a break. This is where you come in, set across a series of randomised levels complete with bosses, puzzles, mid-run upgrades, as well as some amount of permanent upgrades. The model at play here is tried and tested. Complete with a neon 80s vibe, this is not a perfect game, but it is enjoyable, especially at half price. No Kuni is a charming tale that unfolds through the use of animation storyboarded and created by the legendary Studio Ghibli, and music composed by the renowned Joe Hisaishi. No Kuni Wrath of the White Witch combines beautiful animated visuals, masterful storytelling, and a sweeping score to create an epic role-playing adventure like no other, which blew Juan away when he reviewed it. You can check out his review up at the top right hand side. 40% off is the best sale we've yet to see on this one, and it's definitely worth it. Namco completely owned the arcade cabinet scene during the 80s and 90s, and here they have lovingly emulated 11 of those titles, complete with the cabinet surround and 2 options in each, normal mode and challenge. Here we have a specific challenge to mix things up a bit, and with the addition of online leaderboards, your competitive nature can shine through. The games on offer are a mixed bag with hits such as Pac-Man, Galaga, Splatterhouse and Rolling Thunder to lesser known titles like Sky Kid or Tank Force. As far as the recent collections on the Switch go, this is one of the most varied and fun. The Dragon Ball world is epic and full of lore, great characters and epic moments, and Xenoverse 2 aims to cram all of that into an open world fighter akin to an MMORPG, but with more of a focus on combat. If that sounds exciting, that's because it is. The game is huge and the ability to take your own created characters into this world is enticing. The port to the Switch is decent and the visuals still look great, a bargain at 75% off. If you look back fondly on side-scrolling games like Ghosts and Goblins, then you will be delighted by this modern yet true recreation of games like that, including the difficulty and simple controls. The soundtrack fits perfectly, as do the retro graphics. It's a great reimagining and the price is criminal, one not to be missed. The sale ends on the 22nd, so be sure to snap this one up quickly. I feel as though Planet Alpha is the kind of game that went a bit under the radar. It's a platformer that is both unique and shows its inspiration at the same time. Landing on an alien world and without any weapons or traditional means of defense or attack, you largely use the stunning planet itself to achieve success. There is a true alien feel reminiscent of the Oddworld series and Another World. Giant creatures roam the land and there is an abundance of vegetation unlike on our home planet. The story is linear and enjoyable, and what makes it stand out is the clever use of the day and night cycle, which you can control and manipulate in order to solve puzzles. The graphics are lo-fi but stunning in my opinion, and this is one to enjoy solo from start to end. Simply put, if you love Monster Hunters, then the chances are you will love the God Eater series. Set in a dystopian world where you play the role of a God Eater, someone who can harness the power of the origami and wield gigantic weapons known as God Arcs. The story sees you set across the world and meet a host of different characters, find and craft badass weapons and gear, and slay massive monsters. It's a blast, and whilst it will sound a lot like Monster Hunter, it has its own style. Battles, for example, are much shorter and snappier. This was one of my favourite games from last year, definitely worth checking out, and if you are unsure, check out my review by clicking at the top right hand side. In Earth Atlantis, the Earth's surface has been covered by 96% water due to the great climate shift at the end of the 21st century. The main capital cities have all but gone and now lay in ruins, deep in the seas, where all that's left is steel and stone. Machines now roam as they have adopted the form of terrifying sea creatures. Human civilization has fallen. All you know is that you are a hunter, and this is where your journey begins. The game is a side-scrolling retro shooter with a Metroidvania type map, where there are no levels, just areas to open up for you to explore. It's super simple to play and the controls feel tight and very intuitive. In fact, there is only the analog stick to move your sub left and right, and then you hold a button to fire weapons. That's basically all there is to it. The challenge is avoiding the enemies and the enemy fire. At full price, this is a lot to ask for, but with 70% off, it's a bargain worth investigating. Troubadour is a marvel of creation. It's a mysterious sci-fi caper set in the 60s, overlaid upon stunning handmade sets. It's a labour of love that is different and a great example of originality. As for the gameplay, there's a cool, fully voiced mystery to be enjoyed here that will take you close to 10 hours to complete. Next up is the fantastic Double Cross. This one is an action-adventure platformer that feels like Mega Man with a little Sonic thrown in. It takes place at Rift headquarters, an interdimensional police force, think Men in Black. The story is one big whodunit full of bonkers aliens from different galaxies, including my favourite, a bodybuilder, Brussels sprout dude. Yes, it's the muscles from Brussels. You play as Zara Sinclair, and controlling her is nice and tight. She jumps around using a nifty proton slinger, and I love that this game is set across 3 worlds. Each world feels unique and the look and sound is spot on. If you yearn for a Zelda, A Link to the Past, but don't want to spend that AAA cash, or if you're in the market for another dose of that type of gameplay, then look no further. With a hefty 90% off, this charming indie top-down Zelda-inspired RPG is a bargain. Made by just one man, this has it all. Crafting, dungeons, 16-bit styling, and lots to explore and discover. We love our shoot 'em ups here at SwitchWatch, and this one is a welcome addition to the Switch library. I have no hesitation in recommending it. There is a decent story, great audio and decent visuals all in a package with fun gameplay, either on your own or with a friend. I like the switching screen mechanic, even though it took some getting used to as it adds something different to the genre. You may prefer a single screen experience, but until you try this you will not know for sure. Whilst the game does have a few flaws, none of them detracted too much from what is an overall solid package, and they're all for less than £2. And there you have a bunch of bargains worth picking up. Let us know your pick this week down below, and next Sunday we'll give away a $10 eShop voucher. Speaking of which, last week's winner is Eddie Lee. Congratulations, Eddie. Please email us and we will get you that voucher. You can read a lovely write-up of this list over at switchwatch.co.uk, as well as finding some awesome articles. That's it from us today, but if you enjoyed this, please tune back in next Sunday for more bargains and Jordan's brilliant physical roundup, which will be out tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. If you enjoy our content, well, thank you for watching, and please do consider subscribing. Once again, a massive thank you to everyone who supports us. Have a great week. Take care.